Welcome to the HR Empowerment Podcast, where we will uncover strategies and new insights from HR professionals who discuss up-to-date regulations, best practices, and the most pressing topics like diversity and equity, leadership, dealing with difficult situations, and much more that affect your bottom line and business. Thanks for joining us.
Hey everybody, Wendy Sellers here, the HR lady, and I am back with JC and John. Hey guys.
Hey.
How we doing?
We're doing amazing. You know why? We're listening to you, who is an expert on motivational leadership. And I want to dive into spotting burnout, because I think all three of us are burnt out right now. And it's the end of the year. Many of our employees and anybody we know might be burnt out, but it's not a calendar-based thing, right, John?
No, absolutely not. Burnout can happen at any point in anybody's career. I think what happens is you just get to a point where you feel like you're spinning your wheels. You've been out there, you've been working, you're not seeing results, you don't feel like you're appreciated, you're not getting recognition, and you just start not to care. And that starts to become evident in the way people perform, the way they work, their attitudes towards each other. It could be anything. It could show up in punctuality. It could show up in quality, or it could just show up in attitude. You know, and it happens in any kind of an organization. If you think about it, any organization that does any kind of business at all,
right,
interacts with customers in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
That the people who are interacting with your customers are your frontline people. If they're being treated like garbage, if they're getting burned out, they're not going to represent your company, your product, your brand, your service very well. And that's going to impact everything else. Your bottom line, everybody's attitude, all kinds of stuff start to happen. If you think about it, go to your favorite restaurant. The food might be phenomenal, but if the service is garbage because somebody's in a bad mood or they're disgruntled, you're probably not going to go back there. People, slapping the food down on the table in front of you. But there may be another restaurant has mediocre food, but they treat you great. They're always smiling. They feel like you feel like they're happy there. It makes a huge difference. Who are you going to give your business to?
Yeah, it really is. And the answer to the question that you asked about who am I going to give my business to, my response may be something different than your response or JC's response, because maybe the food or this particular food that you can only get at this one restaurant, I'm going to risk it. But eventually, people want service. They want to feel like a human, especially if they're paying top dollar. And let's face it, going to McDonald's is still paying top dollar these days. And so the interesting thing is a lot of these like fast food restaurants, they're also struggling for attracting and retaining employees, but they've been paying more, passing the buck on to us, and we're still going there. Right?
Yeah, that's so true. So true.
It's like we complain about it, but we're like, well, I know maybe it's going to take a little bit longer. And now they have the runners that run out your food to the curb, ask you to move your car and everything. But they resolved it. They resolved the situation. They know that you're going to be experiencing some customer service negativity. And they resolved it, and we still go back and pay the bill. What do you got, JC?
The second that you brought up McDonald's, my mind got stuck at Big Macs, and I didn't hear anything of what you said. That's all. No, joking around. Hey, look, burnout. It is that condition characterized by emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion as a result of prolonged or excessive stress. It's actually a serious problem. It can harm an employee's health, productivity, and job satisfaction. Burnout has officially been classified as an occupational phenomenon by the World Health Organization. 77% of U.S. workers said that they were burnt out at their current job. 53% of remote employees reported working longer hours than their office counterparts. And believe it or not, 28% of U.S. workers are considered high risk for burnout. Back to you.
I'm surprised those numbers are that low.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. You could look at 700 things of stats, and they're all like different. I love Gallup, but let's face it, they're always a 6 to 12 months behind. Let's just not worry about the numbers. And John, tell our listeners today, how do they help their team stop burnout? even if they're not burned out yet? How do they recover from it, and how do they slow it down?
Hey, there's several things to keep in mind. You know what the number one cause of burnout is? It's the lack of recognition. People don't feel like they're being communicated with. They don't feel like they're being understood. They don't feel like what they do matters. So here's the thing. I like to look at it this way, like an invitation, right? You're being invited to life and to work. And what you need to do is to RSVP. And RSVP is a very simple acronym. The first thing is to refocus. Refocus on the things that are actually important. The S is for simplify, which is get rid of all the extraneous stupid stuff, the busy work, all the garbage that gets in the way so that you can focus on that stuff that's important. The V is to validate what's truly an emergency, what's truly a problem, what's truly important or not. And then finally, P is to take out some time to play. So
yeah, baby.
Refocus, simplify, validate, and play. That's the RSVP to life. And that's how to help to refocus to get out of that potential burnout phase.
That is awesome. I really, really like that. And I love that it ended with play, because I love to play. And, sometimes we just can't because of whatever, the weather, money, COVID, you name it. But you can still play on your own terms. It really, to me, means not working.
That was overall a really good one. I've never heard RSVP used that way, Wendy. That was wicked. That was great.
That was new to me too. That was really awesome.
Hey, play could be anything that gives you joy.
Right.
There you go.
And for many people, that could just be taking a nap. It could be getting away from other human beings. It could be reading a book, or it could be, jumping off a cliff, and skydiving, whatever it might be. But hey,
hopefully
listen,
with a bungee cord or something with you.
Yeah, with something, some kind of security attached there. Listen, folks, though, we're here talking about motivational leadership. In our next episode, we are going to be talking about building and retaining a resilient team. It starts with you. Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back.
Thank you for joining the HR Empowerment Podcast, brought to you by Aurora Training Advantage. We hope you've gained new insight and strategies to navigate the HR profession. We look forward to you joining us again on the HR Empowerment Podcast.